Hi, I'm Zach. In this video, I'm going to explain how I have allowed myself to become delusional through tastes of success. This is a part of a 30-day vlog series where at the end of the 30 days, if I don't make $1,000, I'm going back to my day job. I quit my day job 7 months ago, and a number of things happened that have deeply motivated me even more to continue. A number of things happened that just got me into a state of mind to have more hope and to be more determined and to keep going. And I must say, whenever I put in my 2 weeks to my day job 7 months ago, I was not expecting to last this long, as long as 7 months. I told my day job I would likely be back in fall, and some things happened that kept me hooked in and going, even whenever I wasn't making enough money, which now, looking back, I feel less delusional about it from those moments where I kept going on even though I had no money. I feel less delusional, and I do regret not facing reality and being like, all right, I should go back to my day job now. It didn't happen this time. And so I'm going to talk about that more. So I quit my day job 7 months ago, and at first, the first couple months, I was just street performing mainly. Street performing and creating content for YouTube. And I knew that this wouldn't be able to sustain me alone. And, but I knew that there was a possibility, sorry, hi kitty. There was a possibility that a cat's tail would block the camera whenever I'm trying to record videos. There was a possibility that I would be able to make network and get paid gigs, get fans, and get more patrons. And at bare minimum, I knew quitting my day job and just going headfirst into my dream job would help me get a little bit further. And I know just doing that over the course of 10, 20 years, eventually you get to the point where you can support yourself and make an income doing what you love. And so I was there the first couple months just street performing and making content and trying to do it better and better every single time and meeting as many people. And eventually I met Jeff, and Jeff has helped me produce my first professionally produced album. He's helped me create my best songs with drums and bass and guitar. But not only that, I've gone with him to a number of venues, and he's taught me and helped me learn and get better at skills to get gigs and to meet people and network. And so also on top of that, Jeff was starting to pay me some money to help me out. And so I wasn't needing to street perform as much, and also had all these perks and things happen that I had been working towards for years, from the blessings of knowing Jeff as a good friend and mentor. And so I kept doing that for another couple months, and I started to focus more on things that weren't necessarily going to pay me money immediately, but would pay in the long run, like creating the album and creating a list of all the venues and walking into these venues and networking and working on getting paid gigs and creating a CD label and a bunch of stuff on the website and a number of other details. This cat is distracting me. So there it was, working with Jeff, and about 4 months in, I started to not make as much money. It started to get colder, and it was around fall or getting close to fall. And Jeff was paying me, but not as much. He didn't have as much work for me to do, but we were still like focusing and working on things that were very beneficial for our future and as in the long term. And I knew it was more beneficial than going back to a day job to focus on these things. And so that's what I did. And I kept focusing on them. Although I believe this is around the point where I should have stopped, the like 5 and 6 month period where the cat's looking at you guys like, what the heck? There's other people here. Around the 5th or 6th month period, about 2 or 3 months ago, I should have went back to my day job. Yeah, around fall, whenever I said. So I should have went back. But these number of things happening and the smaller amount of success I found from social media and YouTube and gaining patrons, and I had so much hope and faith inside my heart, and I'd been working so hard towards it, and I felt like I was delusional, and I felt like, oh, it could be any day now, any day. I'm gonna get a video with 50,000 views, or I'm gonna get a couple high-paying patrons, or a big donation from someone who really believes in the message, and it didn't happen. But I kept going and going. It's gonna happen any day now. I will make the money I need to pay these bills, and it didn't happen. And my car was repossessed, and so I allowed myself to become delusional from those small tastes of success, which kept me acting in a way that just was not beneficial. It kept me going down a path that was not the right path, but I justified it in my mind through delusions so I could keep going down that path, whenever it was really just taking me a couple of steps back. Going full into my dream job and continuing to do that whenever I was not getting the results doing what I was doing. I needed to do something different. The definition of insanity, some people say, is doing the same thing and expecting different results, doing the same thing over and over again. And I started to do that. Although there has always been that voice in the back of my mind, and I'm very critical of myself, and I'm always thinking that. But sometimes it's not in the very forefront of my mind. It's in the back of my mind and eating in my subconscious as I sleep, and it destroys my sleep quality. Just kidding. Actually, I sleep pretty well. I'm blessed to have good sleep quality. But I allowed these delusions to take control of my mind and make me not go back to a day job. And I kept working on music and driving over to Jeff's and working on recording. Well, actually, towards those last couple months, we didn't do much actual recording of the album. Most of it was already done. But there were a number of things and sessions where we sat down and mixed some things, and I was there, and we worked some things out. But I know I could have easily had a job. I had the car back then. I could have gotten a job and invested, I mean, at least a part-time job, invested that time, because I was spending so much time over at Jeff's, and really we weren't getting enough done. Like, we were working on a lot, but it just, there were huge chunks of time when I felt like I should be doing something else, and part of me also thinks I should have just doubled down on myself and just stayed home and just like put in the 8 hours of marketing every single day. Like whenever I'm not street performing, which actually this putting in the 8 hours of marketing and like just contacting people and creating even better content. But at the same time, I went over to Jeff's. I spent all that time with him. I was learning, and he was helping me out a little bit, but it wasn't enough, and I kept pushing it on. So, you see, I'm conflicted because I learned a lot of things. I gained a lot of things from this, and there's still a chance that it could pay off. But at the same time, I lost my car, and I'm in a way taking advantage of my parents being here. I'm 30 years old, living with my parents, and my parents are my safety net. And I knew I could do this and put my time and energy into this because my parents would be there. But it's doing this against their will. I'm like forcing them to do this, which is not right. And I've been delusional not facing that also and thinking that this is completely justified, and it's not. And so even if I do make the $1,000, there's a lot of things that I need to change about myself and how I go about this. And even if I do get the day job, obviously I'm not going to quit. It's that might actually be what helps get me ahead, is whenever I finally just stay consistent with the day job and actually, save money, invest, and also create content about how I am balancing the life of a day job and going after my dream. And I've done that a little bit, but I have yet to fully invest myself into that. I've fully invested myself into music and everything, and then whenever I go back to a day job, I'm like, my heart is halfway into the day job. There's always resentment. I'm like, I don't want to be here. And I burn out easily. And then I start feeding fantasies and delusions inside my mind while I'm at work. Like, I could do this for my channel. I could do this. And then I won't have to work here. And then I start like building it up every single day. And I'm like, so like tunnel vision and in my own world and like not even wanting to socialize with anybody. I'm just like in my own world creating this thing. And I've done this a lot at a lot of the jobs, and I've had a lot of periods in my life, transitions, and there's a lot of good things that do come out of me completely dedicating my life and energy into the craft and what I love to do. And there is a lot of progress made, but I've been very selfish on my approach. And as hard as it's been for me to look at it and see, it does hurt other people whenever I act like this, whenever I do this. And so that has to change. And I have to stay grounded in reality and not feed those fantasies. But this passion and this drive is still inside of me very much to pursue my dream. But I gotta do it better. And so, leave a comment down below. Are you in a similar situation, or do you know someone like me? What's your opinions? Do you find this repulsive? Do you vibe and understand the feeling? Do you absolutely hate your day job? Maybe you want to quit your day job too. Or maybe you also have a passion that you absolutely love, and that's why you want to quit your day job. Or maybe you love your day job, and that's awesome. I've had moments in my life where I felt grateful, and I still am grateful for the fact that I can actually get a job and I can work and I can support myself. I've come out of homelessness, and I've been there from the transition of very little to eat and like nowhere to sleep to working 2 jobs, making the money on my own and actually supporting myself, but then that feeling of actually having food and actually having shelter. And I have appreciated jobs for allowing me to do that. Although there is a huge amount of resentment inside of me at jobs, especially these days. You see, whenever I was 18 and I got my first job at McDonald's, I was so bright-eyed and like so hardworking. I was giving it. That was before I even knew I wanted to do music for a living. That was like I was all in. And within the first year of my first real job, they were already training me to be a manager, and I was a overachiever, and I still am overachiever. But I put all of that into my dream job, and whenever I'm at these day jobs, I do work hard, and I take pride in that. I'm always 100% person minimum. Always put in 100%. But at my dream job, it's 110%. And now I'm thinking, at bare minimum, I don't need to put 110% into a day job if I don't make $1,000 and I do go back. I just need to stay consistent. I just need to stay there and put in at least 100%, like I always do. Put in 100%, but put in 110% into music whenever I have the time and energy to do that. I just need to find somehow go up from 100% to 210% in my power level. I don't know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm saying. I need to stay consistent with the job and keep it. And then stay consistent with my dream. That's it. Both. Don't quit both. I need to keep both. And I need to stay grounded in reality. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you, patrons, for supporting. Please check out the Patreon. Everyone of the second tier or higher, you can listen to Man Eating Fruit, my first professionally produced album. The preview of it. Thank you, everyone. For the animals! Woo!